All right, everybody, we definitely have seen a little bit of a pullback in the marketplace for the last couple of weeks, especially a little bit in the condo market. It hasn't had a huge increase in terms of price point, but we've seen a flattening and a flat line across most of the sub areas across the lower mainland, and then now specifically into Vancouver and Vancouver's east side and Vancouver's west side. My last video was on the overall Greater Vancouver real estate market. This one is a lot more specific, just focusing on Vancouver itself. We are going to do a very in-depth breakdown of both Vancouver's east side, Vancouver's west side, and then compare it to not only Greater Vancouver, but also the Fraser Valley, so that you know where you are exactly standing with your property pricing. And if you're wanting to enter the marketplace, you will know the winners, the losers, if you should hold, if you should sell, if you should buy. So as always, my name is Kyle Mark, your Vancouver Realtor, and whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or relocate to my beautiful city, Vancouver, make sure you book that strategy call with me. All my information is in the description below. I'm super easy to get a hold of, and I am here to help. So we're going to do a lot of data analysis. If you are super analytical, this video is going to be for you. It's going to be very in-depth, and I'm going to be bringing a lot of this data on screen for you to follow along. I like doing this just because it's usually the first time I'm looking at all these numbers together, so you can see a live look how I interpret this data. So the first thing that we are going to look at here, and I'm going to be looking off the side of my screen here. So this is a graph that we're looking at, and this is all of the four areas that we're going to go over. Greater Vancouver, which you're going to see is in the green right here, and then we have Vancouver East in the yellow, Fraser Valley down here in the blue, and Vancouver West here. So these are for all property types, and you can see that depending on where you're at, starting here at around March of last year, we started to see a climb up and a huge resurgence on overall in Vancouver's east side. And you can see with this yellow, it's had a steady climb in price point. It jumped all the way from 1,010,000 up to 1.246, so over a $200,000 increase in just over a year. So the Vancouver's east side has been competitive for quite some time, and this is a good chart too for people who are wanting to know where to invest or where to buy. And the analogy that I always use is, if you take a rock, throw it into a still piece of water, wherever that rock hits is the nucleus, and that's where you want to buy as close to as humanly possible depending on your budget. And then why I say that is, when price starts to increase, it starts at the nucleus and works its way out to the Fraser Valley, for example. The same thing, when the market starts to retract, it will start out further away from the nucleus and work its way in. So you're safeguarding yourself when you can get close to Vancouver as possible. And you can see that here, that in around that same time with Vancouver's east side, you saw that the Fraser Valley region started to have several months of a dip, and they've had slow marginal gains here, whereas Vancouver's east side has seen a huge resurgence, and Vancouver as a whole has started to perform very, very well here. So as we move into Vancouver's downtown core, and this is where we're going to bring up those advanced stats, and we're going to be able to see what is going on in Vancouver's downtown markets, and if this is something that you should be purchasing in, you should be selling in, things of that nature. So overall with Vancouver downtown, we've seen that it is a balanced market, currently sitting at 15% sales to active ratio. Homes are selling on average 1% below list price. The most active price band between 600,000 and 700,000, which is in strong sale market conditions, obviously at that price point at 28%. Buyers' best bets, homes at a minimum of $5 million in Cole Harbour and 3-bedroom properties. And then if you're a seller, if you are in the West End and up to 1-bedroom properties, the market is going really, really strong for you. So as we go to this 13-month trend line for Vancouver downtown, you can see that, the pricing has been pretty stable since June of last year. There hasn't been a huge increase in gain, But something to keep in mind here, and I referenced this on my last update, my market update, around Greater Vancouver, we've seen active listings crest past 12,000. The first time we've seen that in 4 years. And you can see that since December, there's been now 4 consecutive months of an increase in inventory, where sales have been pretty flatline here. So if these inventory numbers can continue to move onward and upward, we might be seeing a pullback here in the marketplace. So it's going to be a very interesting thing to observe here. Will the Bank of Canada's announcement, their next one is coming up in June, if they can commit to a date where they are finally going to drop their rates, is this going to stem the tide and make the competitiveness in the marketplace a little bit more? Or are we going to see sales increase to keep up with demand? Time will tell on that. As we move over here to see where the winners and losers are when it comes to condos and townhomes, sub areas here, they're pretty much in the same. Cole Harbour, as we mentioned, is in buyer market conditions. The West End, Yaletown and downtown are all in balanced market conditions, so pretty similar there. If we're looking at price bands that are competitive right now, we mentioned the 600,000 to 700,000 mark. And if you're looking for opportunities in Vancouver's downtown, that 1.5 to 175 mark is sitting at 5%. That's very low in buyer market conditions. 82 inventory with just 4 sales, so there could be some good opportunity in that market. This is condos and townhomes. Since this is downtown, it's likely going to be larger apartments. There are townhomes that fit the description, but if you're looking for a larger condo in this price band, and that's why I like these data points, because up from 1,800,000 all the way to 1.5, it's pretty standard, strong balanced market conditions, and it takes a big toggle here in this price band. So this is something that you may want to connect on. Obviously, the higher you get in price point, the less the sales ratio will go. We'll see another 5% in that 3 to 3.5 million mark. 21 active, 1 sold, so some nice opportunity there. In terms of competitiveness, 0 to 1 bedroom are just getting into almost seller market conditions, and anything above that 3 bedroom mark, you are in buyer market conditions. So if we put all this together here in downtown Vancouver, if you're looking at a 3 bedroom, which would definitely fit in line in this 1.5 to 1.75 mark, that is an area of opportunity for a buyer, opportunity for a seller. If you're a 1 bedroom unit in that $600,000 to $900,000 range, you're going to probably do pretty good there as well, where days on market are now sitting at 16 here in April. As we cruise down here to look at the rest of the condo markets across Vancouver, we're going to hit up Vancouver's West Side. And as we see what has been going on here, they are in seller market conditions, sitting at a 22% sales to active ratio. And remember, what that means is that for in 22%, 2.2 homes out of 10 are selling. So anything that's above 20% is in seller market conditions. So we're sitting at 22% on the West Side. Homes are selling on average 1% below list price. Most active price band 700,000 to 800,000 with an average sales ratio of 38%, which is strong seller market conditions. Buyer best bets, homes between 2.5 and 3 million, Dunbar and minimum 4 bedroom properties. And if you're selling homes in Fairview, Mount Pleasant, Point Grain, up to 1 bedroom properties, that is the way to go if you are a seller on Vancouver's West Side. If we look at pricing here, it's has been teetering around that $1 million mark since October of last year, but the same as downtown, and this is going to be a trend here. We've had, again, 4 consecutive months of increase in activity in terms of actives. And we have had a nice buildup in terms of sales, where we've seen an increase of over the last 4 months as well, but it's starting to flatline here. If we look at some of the winners and losers in terms of communities, depending where you are living, let's see, Fairview 44%, very, very strong sellers market conditions. False Creek at 32%, Kitsilano at 36%, Mount Pleasant at 60%, Point Grey 45%. So a lot of these areas are very, very strong. So if you're looking to buy, there's going to be competition most likely in there. And if you're looking to sell, you should be getting a good return if you're priced sharply. But with that, we're noticing that if you're not priced properly even a little bit too high, nothing outrageous, you are going to sit on the marketplace, because what's coming up is that we've seen that line with those active listings coming on market. There's enough activity that's coming up underneath that if a unit is priced right, it's usually selling in around 2 weeks, but the ones that are priced a little bit too high are starting to sit. If you are looking for, some in the Dunbar area, 6% buyer market conditions, that is the lowest one there. As we get to the other side here on price bands, we can see that anywhere from the $400,000 mark all the way up to the 1.25 mark is seller market conditions. And then once you start getting into that 1.25 and over, you're getting into balanced market and then buyer market conditions. So that's 700,000 to 800,000 and 900 to 1 million price band sitting at 38% and 36%. Very strong seller market conditions in those price bands. So those are going to be 1 and 2 bedroom condos on Vancouver's west side. If you're selling 1 to 2 bedroom units, very strong seller market conditions, or just getting into seller market conditions as well. So if you are 1 2 bedroom condo units in around that $700,000 to $1 million mark, and then if you pair that with Fairview, Kitsilano, Mount Pleasant, you are in a spot that you should be looking to sell if you've been thinking about doing so. As we move into Vancouver's Eastside and their condo and townhome market, and we're seeing that 28%, again, that is sitting in 2 or the 3 categories: downtown, Westside, and Eastside. The Eastside condo market rate and attached market is very, very strong. And we can see that homes are selling on average 1% below list price. That's been the same across the other areas. 5 to 600,000, 36% sales ratio, the most active price band. Buyers best bets anywhere between 4 to 500,000 in downtown South Vancouver, minimum 4 beds. Seller best bets: Champlain Heights, Killarney, Victoria, and 2 bedroom properties. So as we go into the winners and the losers here, Champlain Heights 55%, Hastings Sunrise 100%, but they have not a lot of sales data, just 2 inventory and 2 sales. Victoria at 50%, Killarney 56%, Fraser 38%. So very, very strong seller market conditions pretty much across the board for that condo and townhouse market. The lowest that we see is an 11%. That is balanced market conditions in South Vancouver. For price bands, anywhere from 500,000 all the way to 1.25, so a similar range to Vancouver's west side, you're sitting in seller market conditions. That 1.25 to 1.5 mark sitting at 13%. There could be a good opportunity on Vancouver's east side. If you're looking at 1.25 to 1.5, you could get a really nice 2 bedroom unit, maybe upwards of 3 bedroom unit. We can see that anywhere from 0 to 3 bedrooms, they're all sitting in seller market conditions. Days on market did increase to 11 days. And as we look at the pricing here, it has stayed pretty flatlined since May of last year. 780,000 May of last year, sitting at 785. And there's been a sharp increase of active inventory on Vancouver's east side here. And you can see that sales have increased month over month for the last 4 months, but there's a bigger divide here compared to the rest. So like I said, that is something that we are seeing, and it's going to be interesting to see how that looks. We're going to jump over now, since we have done our due diligence on the condo and attached market for those April numbers. And now you're going to be able to see what the condo prices have been doing for the last 3 years and how to compare it to the Fraser Valley, Greater Vancouver, Vancouver's east side, and west side. So we're starting at the beginning here, January of 2021. Again, light blue here is Fraser Valley, yellow is Vancouver East, green is Greater Vancouver, and then the top light blue is Vancouver's west side. So, they move pretty closely in terms of price point. So, the low point was April of 2023, and there's been a flat line here in terms of value. You can see the Vancouver's east side and Greater Vancouver almost on par. The Vancouver's east side condo market has been doing a slight move, the best move of all 3 of them since April of 2023. If we move this back even to 5 years, I'm gonna go 10, because this is what I've been telling a lot of people. You can see that if we even go back to June of 2018, that's 6 years ago, and at the peak You can see the numbers ranging from 389 in the Fraser Valley to 810. There hasn't been a huge jump up when it comes to price points. As we can see, the Fraser Valley has had a very nice run up. If you've been owning property there, that is definitely unreal. The condo market has stayed pretty stagnant, and when we get into these detached numbers here, you're going to see there's definitely a lot more movement in the detached market than there is in the condo market. So here's some things just for you to keep in mind, and then as we turn this all over to the townhouse market, just so that you can see how everything has been moving. And again, you know, pretty much a flat line here for the last 2 years. There hasn't been a lot of movement in pricing. There's a little bit of a dip on Vancouver's Westside here at the top, but what you're seeing now, and these are some of the pricing that we've seen, your average 1.75 million across Greater Vancouver, 1.164 average townhouse for Vancouver East. Average townhouse on Vancouver's Westside is 1.565 and 844 in the Fraser Valley. And then if you want to pull it back to that 10-year mark, just so that you can see, you know, there's been a lot more movement in terms of upward trajectory on price point in the townhouse market in opposition to the condo market. But we know that the last couple years, it has stayed pretty stagnant here. If you are a seller, if you are a buyer looking in and around Vancouver, you want a home evaluation, you want a strategy call, book that. It's in the description below. I'm super easy to get a hold of, and I am here to help. So my name is Kyle Mark, your Vancouver realtor, and whether you're looking to buy, sell, or relocate, or invest in my beautiful city of Vancouver, I am here to give you everything that you need. And if you want any more inspiration in terms of what your future home could look like, make sure you check out my playlist up here of my luxury Vancouver property tours. Until the next one, you take care.